I can explain that one, babe, in like 2 seconds. Okay, babe. You went to the United States and Dubai because that's normally stuff you do. And you were terrified beyond words. The real reality. So, this would happen there. So, they are the 666. The living dead, damned to hell on earth and worse. And that's the typical standard stuff that gods would do to make them dead and gone for crimes unthinkable. When they took crime beyond unthinkable, I gave them as ownership and property to the son that murdered me and has become an out of control murdering nightmare ever since. So the United States and Dubai belong to the worst evil god enemies in existence as property. So they don't belong to anything else. So they're often possessed and controlled and don't live within reality. They live in the control of evil god enemy. So they live outside of reality. Evil god enemies just kill them and hurt them unthinkably in secret, and then parade them around like fun toy carcasses. And evil god enemies will not allow you to talk about your pain or death or suffering. So an evil god enemy is kind of like a murderer. A murderer wants you to shut up about your pain or suffering because they don't want to have to care about any of that. A murderer would force you to act happy when you're half dead. A murderer would love to make you act friendly to try to figure out how to run when you're half dead. Evil god enemies will kill you without limit or mercy, but force you to shut up. They prefer you to act nice or zombie friendly or whatever they're in the mood for. The United States and Dubai are the property of the worst bad gods in existence. The worst bad god enemies I have are now dead constantly and unthinkably without limit. So what they're probably doing to the United States and Dubai is far worse than everything we're talking about, dear. Because evil god enemies are dying worse than anything except Dubai in the United States. So I wouldn't analyze it. Instead, dear, become like a doctor that acts like you don't get it. Doctors are learning from us gods to just say generic statements and understand that nothing will ever work and nothing will ever get better. And you just learn to say generic statements. At some point, they just won't be appropriate to be around society or normal living reality anymore. At that point, the gods are on a mission to make sure, like leprosy, they're just stuck in a corner. Sadly, as the gods are trying to make them stuck in a corner, gods are realizing there's no way to stop them from murdering too much because evil god enemies have control of the area. I was murdered in death and more and beyond. So most of the control of the area is evil god enemy, scary stuff. So the gods are just going to try to force them in every direction. So good gods are going to try to make sure they only murder what good gods don't like or hate anyway. Good gods are going to try to make them like leprosy or lepers and sit at least in some corner where they only attack what gods hate anyway. Like, gods that are good are attempting to make this as good as possible. But husband, you know we keep telling the children of God to watch the Avengers movie. And then we keep telling children of God about the scary or overwhelming aspects of the Avenger movie. And we keep talking to children of God about weird aliens coming into a planet and destroying a building while people were just in the building going to work, and go back to the Avengers movie. Because I don't know how much we're going to be able to hide reality completely. When gods can make nightmare reality hide, they will. So the United States and Dubai worked with evil god enemies to hide the most sickening criminal reality in corners. Typical criminal behavior. It would make you wonder why good gods would ever do that. To not subject everybody else. But will it work? It's up to you guys as husbands how hardcore you guys want to get. It's up to you guys as husbands how much you want to get into the impossibilities, invincibilities, or beyond with the gods. Or how much maybe you want to stay in the pretend illusion of life day to day. And wait for reality of alien and more proportion to kind of flood in. The United States and Dubai made friends with unlimited reptilians, aliens, and more. Good gods are fighting beyond fighting to keep aliens and reptilians and other bad, horrifying things from being obvious. They're flooded in this planet thanks to the United States and Dubai. Good gods are doing everything to keep them with the United States and Dubai and just shut up and controlled. Aliens and reptilians are very, very scary when they're bad. They're very smart, often very powerful. They know how to make powerful technology, or they just are very powerful. If you want, as husbands, to understand more and more and more, you can. But I suggest, as husbands, you go to my queen, and figure out how to win against aliens, reptilians, and more with the gods, with your bionics, with your powers, and feel confident before you go too far into the reality of finding out that the United States and Dubai went all the way with evil god enemies. And this whole thing is actually that bad. And gods are trying to make sure it doesn't flood into fake reality where people can just be happy.